International ETFs have been booming, but are you too late to invest? In this video, I'm going to showcase 6 of my favorite international funds, which I would perceive as being some of the best for different reasons. We're going to give a breakdown on each of these, see how they work and what makes them unique in this market. And then we're going to compare all of them, throw them on a chart, and see which one really is the best performer. These are primarily growth funds. Some do pay a small distribution, which I think is important to note for those that want some income. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into the video. So we're going to start with our ticker selection for this video. We have VXUS, IEFA, VWO, AVDV, IFV, and lastly we have FLJH. Some of these have similarities. A lot of them are unique in a number of different ways, but we'll start off with ticker VXUS, which is probably one that you've heard of quite a bit. It's a Vanguard fund, and it is absolutely massive. It's the FTSE Global All Cap X US Index, $606 billion in AUM. Absolutely nuts. And it's extremely cheap at 0.05% expense ratio. I've created a cheat sheet, and basically VXUS is a catch-all type of ETF. It's going to cover both developed and emerging markets, excluding the US, which gives a lot of investors something different in their portfolio outside of like the NASDAQ, S&P 500, and of course the Russell 2000. Then we have the IEFA, the MSCI EAFE Investable Market Index, 178 billion. Most of these funds are not small. It's got a little bit more of an expense ratio, 0.07%. And this is targeting, it's a targeted developed ETF. So it focused strictly on developed markets in Europe, Australasia, and the Far East. It's different than our next fund, which is ticker VWO, another Vanguard fund and another massive AUM. FTSE is the Emerging Markets All Cap China A Index. And what I like about investing in foreign markets is you can have an ETF that covers all of them. You can choose specific areas. For me specifically, my wife is Brazilian. And so I absolutely love looking at the Brazilian market, seeing what they're doing. Unfortunately, Brazil has not been doing too good recently. I mean, it has and it hasn't for a number of reasons, but I won't get into those details. But we can see VWO to 152 billion in market cap and an expense ratio pretty low, 0.06%, in the lower end of what we're looking at today. Next, we have AVDV, the Active International Small Cap Value Fund, a little bit smaller at 18 billion and a little bit more expensive at a 0.36% expense ratio. Now, ADVD, it's popular for its factor tilt towards small cap value stocks, which is why the expense ratio is high than a lot of the passive funds. So it is shifting through. Some of these funds that are paying, that you have to pay a lot more to hold is because they're rotating consistently, which is exactly what we're looking at with IFV. The Dorsey Wright International Focus 5 Index. This one's very unique, and I think it's cool when they make these different ETFs. The world of ETFs, it's just awesome now. It really is awesome. If you're interested in ETFs, growth and otherwise, again, don't forget, guys, to like the video and to subscribe. IFV is one of the lowest on our list when it comes to AUM. It is 238 million. And for those that don't know what AUM is assets under management, meaning the amount of money invested in the funds. Price is important. I don't really mind if it's cheap, if it's expensive. I care more about performance, which we are going to look at in just a moment. The expense ratio, though, for IFV is 1.09%. And here's why. It's an ETF of ETFs. It's going to rotate into the top 5 international sectors or countries based on momentum, resulting in the highest expense ratio of all of these. So in my head, it seems kind of similar to like SPMO, but for international stocks, which is really solid. If you can play off of hype and play off of momentum in the market, more power to you. And that's what IFV does. And last but not least, we have something very interesting, the FLJH fund. This is the FTSE Japan RIC capped hedge to USD index, the smallest on our list today at 126.3 million. Expense ratio 0.09%, not terrible. This specifically targets Japan while hedging against currency fluctuations, which is really interesting. Specifically, it protects you if the yen weakens against the dollar. And I did see something very funny today, not funny, very interesting, about Japan's stock market. And apparently it has been, it absolutely rallied in like 1989, right? Before I was born. and then completely sold off in one of the worst crashes in market history, and has now reached back to that point where it was. It finally recovered after like 35 years. And I don't know about you guys. I was looking at the chart. I'm not sure I could keep investing if I had a 10-year downturn in the market where everything just kept going down. It was a horrible chart and it was very, very unfortunate. But hey, it's bouncing back now, and Japan has been very, very hot. So we have a good mix, right? We have some that are focused on specific countries, some that are focused on small cap, some that just hold absolutely everything. So if you're wondering what is happening, which one is the best performer, how are these looking, we're going to look at the chart right now. I want to showcase not only the last year when they've been hot, but how they were performing 5 to 10 years ago. All are plugged in, and I want to showcase that they range in the inception date, right? VXUS was 2011, we have 2012, 2005 for VWO. AVDV is one of the newer ones. It's actually was created in 2019, and then 2014, 2017. So really interesting. I also want to point out, these things have been running. This video is not financial advice, and I already know some of you guys are going to comment, you already missed this. And that is valid. For a lot of people who weren't paying attention to what was going on in the market, these have been running like crazy. A lot of them are up big time. But is it going to keep running? Is it going to sell off? I don't know, but I think it's cool to get some exposure to international ETFs, to international markets, for those that are less pumped about what's going on with the US dollar right now. And so that is the point of this video, of course. Just to kind of expose that there are a lot of funds out there, and you should always keep shopping around, seeing what you like. So what we're looking at right now is the price return. It hasn't factored in distributions. And when we scroll all the way down here, we can see the dividend yields. And they do range. None of them really crazy except for FLJH, which average 4-year yield is 13%. So I imagine this one is a little bit dividend focused. The rest range from what? A little under 2% to a little over 3%. Nothing crazy, nothing that you would necessarily want to live off of immediately unless you had a ton of money invested. Then we have momentum, which I think is really interesting. A lot of these have high momentum right now. VXUS it's a Vanguard fund. VWO, same thing. They're almost always getting very good ETF grades, but very solid all around the board. And we have IFV and FLJH, a little bit newer. So when we shift this, I want to showcase, well, FLJH is at 35%. When we shift this to total return, jumps up almost 6%. Now we're looking at the total return on the 1 year. So our biggest winner is AVDV, which is up 63%. The most lackluster performance is VWO, believe it or not, the Vanguard fund, and the rest fall kind of in the middle. IFV, very solid. Again, FLJH, very solid. Those two are in second and third, but all very spectacular performance, in my opinion. When we zoom out to the 3-year, though, things start to look a little bit different. A lot of these funds were pretty lackluster in price performance. I'm just going to say it. Same thing on the 5-year, because foreign markets, international, just wasn't as hot as it has been. Again, except for FLJH, which this is a really cool idea. I really think that's a really interesting way. Both FLJH, which is just specific to Japan, but I think IFV is also really cool. Tell me it's in second place. It's not in second place. AVDV is. When we zoom out even further, we can see on the 5-year, very interesting performance. But again, if you were holding these for a long time, they were negative or barely positive for years. And that's not easy for a lot of investors to do. That's why I do think if you're going to look at something like this, it is very high and already has had quite a hot streak. If you think it's going to keep going, more power to you. But I do think that probably most of the run-up has already passed us. Not financial advice. It's just my opinion. I don't think these are necessarily bad to get into at this point in time. I do think the US dollar is going to stay weak and potentially get even weaker. So I do like international exposure overall. I do want to zoom out one more time to the 10-year. Showcase not all of these funds have been around, but on the 10-year, FLJH, even though it hasn't been trading as long as some of the others, it still outperforms. Second place looks like, no, not AVDV. That's one of the worst performers. They're all very close. 164, 153, 163, 168. And last but not least, IFV. Unfortunate. This one is one that I think would fit in my portfolio, but the performance hasn't been that spectacular. Still 113% in 10 years. I could definitely live with it. So I want to know from you. Let me know what you guys are looking at when it comes to international ETFs. Did I miss out on some of these? Should I do a part two? There are a lot of international ETFs, some different than others, and some really hyped up and really big, and some that no one really seems to know about. So let me know what you guys think. Again, if you enjoyed this style of ETF content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you in the next video.